Thank you so much, Michael. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalists of the Chester River. A special welcome to friends, members, visitors, both here in the sanctuary and joining us on Zoom. Our mission, as noted on the cover of your program, your order of service, is to inspire, inform, and support all who seek spiritual and personal growth and a more equal and just community. I'm Jan Sprinkle, worship leader today, joining Reverend Catherine Adams for our service about compassion for the other. Special thanks today, as always, to Michael for our music, Vita for our floral arrangement, and special thanks today for our special music. Theo Kim is sharing a flute solo with us, and I'm glad you all got to hear just a taste of what that will be. And to the many volunteers that make this service possible. And now for announcements. The first game night went very well. It's reliably reported to me. I hold my head in shame that I didn't make it. It went well, and the next one is scheduled for the first Saturday of November, which is November 1st. Put it on your calendars, show up, and I'll try to do so myself. Next announcement, there is a potluck coming. It is covered in your order of service at Penny McCrae's house on October 17th. Finally, in about a week, a little over a week, is the No Kings Rally. It's an opportunity to send a message to those who are paying attention to our statements out here in little Chestertown. I certainly hope they are. There being no other announcements, we can now move on to the chalice lighting, and Catherine will read the words while I light the chalice.
We receive fragments of holiness, glimpses of eternity, brief moments of insight. Let us gather them for the precious gifts that they are, and renewed by their grace, boldly move. Yes, you did that very well.
Thank you. Now is your opportunity to sing from the gray hymnal, number 151, I Wish I Knew How. It looks deceptively long. It will go pretty quickly. Michael will play it through for us. We got better each verse. For opening words, I have a short story that makes quite a good point. Once there was a little girl who was queen of an island. One day an advisor said to her, "Your Majesty, the people on this island are good, but we must beware of the people on the next island, for they are our enemies." "Our enemies?" responded the queen. "How terrible." "Yes, it is terrible," said the advisor, "for our little island will never be safe while we have enemies. We must find a way to get rid of our enemies." "You are quite right," said the queen. "Do you have any ideas?" "I do indeed," said the advisor. "We can take our army, put it on a ship, sail to the other island, and then our army can march on shore and destroy the enemy." The queen was not so sure this was a good idea. "Thank you for sharing your ideas," said the queen, "but I need some more time to think about it all. Can you come back tomorrow?" "Yes, Your Majesty," said the advisor. He bowed and left the room. The next day, when the advisor returned to talk to the queen, he was shocked to find her having tea with the queen of the next island. The advisor turned red with anger. "How can you sit there and drink tea with that person?" he shouted. "She is our enemy. We must get rid of our enemies." The queen looked at her advisor with eyes that were calm and steady. "You have been a good advisor," she said, "and you were right. We have to get rid of our enemies. You would have me destroy my enemies by conquering them with an army. But the best way to get rid of your enemies is to make them your friends." That's a short story by Christopher Buse. Now we have the treat that you are all waiting for. Theo Chem will share with us a flute solo accompanied by Michael. They've been working on it, and I'm excited to hear it.
Do you know where he was from? It could be Godard or Godard.
That was marvelous. Thank you so much, Theo. I know Mom was back there singing every note with you.
Please join me in the spirit of meditation. Let's take a deep breath. I invite you to find a comfortable, alert, and supported position. Let your breath draw in and out. As you feel your body find that place, please bring to mind someone whose actions in this time you admire, and someone whose actions in this time are repugnant to you. Given our earlier reading, let's consider them an opponent. We don't have to choose to have enemies. Now let this story wash over you, as was told by theologian Walter. You converted. We cannot win by hating our oppressors. We have to love them into changing. This is an example of shifting from a simple us-them, which I see so much of, into a we approach. And it has room for the complexity of the reality and the opportunity to bridge. Bridging allows our relational container to be big enough for disagreement. John A. Powell, a scholar, author, and activist, describes bridging means that even in a space of fighting, one must attempt to hold space for all our humanity. Notice I didn't say agree. And value the worth of all other life. So now, those two people you called to mind, let's take a deep breath. Let's draw in our loving kindness and send loving kindness to both your ally and your opponent. This is a practice of compassion in the struggle, and it is living our Unitarian Universalist value of love at the center.
Now, we will pass the baskets for your contributions for the good works of this church, both within the church and in the greater community.
Somebody's hurting my brother. When Yara Allen, the composer, teaches this song, she tells the story of how it comes about in a meeting from coal country, where the mines were dumping coal ash into poor black, brown, and white communities. Person after person lifted up testified to the harm that this caused them. Each powerful testimony contributed to the inspiration for this song that is grounded in the tradition of the African American spirituals. And I learned to sing that song with the Poor People's Campaign and Repairers of the Breach, who fight for a government that works for poor and working class people. They have amazing programs. Notice, how did the singing make you feel?
Like a bad singer.
Like a bad singer? Okay. Powerful. It raised the energy. Music makes us feel and can transcend what we can name. And I think that's part of why the ancient Hebrew and Arabic texts of sacred scripture were often sung or chanted. Music connects us heart to heart. It's sacred. So before I dive into compassion in the struggle, I want to frame part of the why. And I honestly expect it'll be different for all of us in some extent. For some, loving kindness is a spiritual practice. And if we have a Buddhist element of our faith, then loving kindness may be one of the expressions. For others who have difficulty finding loving kindness in the struggle right now, I want to share about the rabbit study. Kelly Harding, MD, MPH, recently wrote, 2019, The Rabbit Effect, Live Longer, Happier, and Healthier with Groundbreaking Science of Kindness. It started in 1978. In studying heart health, one group of genetically similar rabbits were protected from heart attack and stroke. One experimenter wasn't just feeding the rabbits, she was petting them and talking to them. And they lived longer. This has been expanded over the next 40 years into a great body of research on kindness and how it has biological effects, from epigenetic changes to telomere length, to impacts of lower inflammation, pain, blood pressure, improved immune system function, and mood, even improved cancer survival. And best of all, it's easy to do. Connect, say hi, make eye contact, offer a friendly good morning, contribute, look for ways to help others, and continue to learn. Classes, seminars, pick up sports, it really doesn't matter what, as long as you're learning and enjoying it. And y'all, I think this community tends to do these things as a matter of course. So today, I want to take us into a nuance of compassion and kindness in the struggle, as I talked about in the meditation. Engaging with compassion and humility to build bridges of community and understanding. What harms our siblings harms us, even if it doesn't align with our own experiences. May we be brave enough to experience our own suffering through those experiences and build compassionate bridges for all humanity. And may we be open-hearted enough to do it with kindness. Author and former Labor Secretary Robert B. Reich offers, quote, "The central struggle of civilization is fighting bullies and standing up against brutality." And beloveds, I believe we are in a struggle for civilization. I hear this framing the suffering in his own experiences, having been bullied as he was 4'11". He chose to ground his compassion for others in the suffering he experienced in that bullying and brutality. He built bridges of humor and compassion and advocated for working class people who were being left behind as the economy shifted. He chose kindness. When the economy shifted from manufacturing to information and service, many people were left behind. And wealth moved upwards into upper classes. Social agreements between business leaders, workers, and surrounding communities who all contributed to and then benefited from businesses were broken. So when some say that the government hasn't worked for them for years, they may be right. And that was part of wealth concentration. So yes, the economy grew and people were left behind. Many other groups have experienced brutality within our society. One is the disability rights community, which has seen many bullies and a lot of brutality, and tremendous movements of people who just won't be silent anymore. Crip call is one of the most powerful things I have ever seen. Does everyone know what I'm talking about? The ADA got passed because disability rights activists showed up at Capitol Hill and crawled out of their wheelchair up the steps. Arm by arm, they pulled their bodies up the steps. It was a phenomenal display of effort. It took a long time, and it was broadcast. And people realized what they were fighting for: access to our public spaces. And we all benefit from the ADA. As a mom with a stroller, I look for those curb cuts. Anyone who's used a wheelchair or a walker, who has not benefited from that, right? I think it's important to remember that we all have different abilities throughout our lives. And at some point, almost all of us are in some way or form disabled. I pray we're kind to ourselves and each other as we navigate these transition points. A group that's currently under attack are people with minoritized racial and ethnic identities. Walking while brown has become an arrestable offense. Citizens and immigrants alike are arrested, hands zip-tied, and detained. Some are eventually released. Another group under attack are our siblings with sexual and gender minority identities. There are many examples of historical and current bullies and brutalities that impact the community. Top of my mind today is the trauma of conversion therapy. And does everyone know what conversion therapy is? Okay, nods. Let me be crystal clear. Conversion therapy is a lie. It does not help, it only harms, and a central component of a case before a Supreme Court. I think most of us have experienced the suffering of being told how we are not enough. Not we did something wrong, which is called human, but somehow we are wrong, which is shame. And that, allowing shame to silence us, is not okay, because we won't be silent anymore. We are enough. And some of us may have had one trait pulled out and set to define us, right? I'm probably not the only one who has been told that I'm either defined by my gender or that I'm the smart one, right? And all of a sudden, all the other ways of expressing myself became harder to access, right? No one else's experience or suffering is the same as ours, and we may not understand, but we can connect in compassion, and we can choose kindness. As Reverend James Bevel called for the civil rights protests in our meditation, we can love those who are our opponents. Steadfastly living our values with compassion and kindness while engaging in the central struggle of civilization to resist brutality and bullying speaks to this moment for me in a really powerful way. We may choose kindness or be the ones who, and choose to be the ones we are waiting for, because no savior is coming. We are the only ones who can save each other, and it needs to be a big each other. Like a really big, like we the people big, right? Robert Reich talks a lot about politics, and he gave me a deeper appreciation of how we got to where we are today. And I found it really helpful to see our current moment which has felt so fast and explosive, as an extension and an outcome of many things over the past 40 years. And that made it feel like I could breathe. We have allowed work to become less fairly compensated, less stable, valued, and whole communities to be isolated. And as we learned with our rabbits, what happens when we're isolated? It's not good for us. None of that is compassionate or kind. It's extractive. Economically, when our government transitioned from a manufacturing economy to an information economy, there were real losses and harms. And the ability to support a family on a working class job has evaporated. Job security is down. Time with family, gone. We can connect with members of our community who experience those tangible material losses. We can be present in the rage, like the Queen. Her advisor was raged. He was mad. And she was calm. We can do that. And participate and engage in making community. The demands of generally white male masculinity transform those very real losses into losses of identity. And losses of identity are deep, emotional, relational, and communal losses. Recognizing that these losses, as well as the foundation, are a lot of the generalized rage in our polarized society, can invite compassion. This communal disconnection with each other is the root. I truly believe it, that it is the root of our current harms. And relationship can become a way forward to create compassion in the struggle. And I do need to be absolutely super clear that compassion with these losses does not mean we turn away from addressing societal and structural and individual inequities. We have a soft front and a strong back, right? We bring our values with us. We're living our values. Soft, compassionate front, honoring what your suffering is, and supporting the values that are important to us. We can break our hearts open with compassion and hold both loss and the change. Choose kindness. We can become bigger and support wider and healthier definitions of masculinity, of success, of what does work mean, and belonging that honors all. And we can build a yes and community with valuable work. We can choose to connect and contribute and continue to learn. So now I need to return to the meditation, and because what that asked of us isn't easy. Reverend James Bevel challenged the civil rights protesters to love their oppressor. And Sheriff Jim Clark wasn't a faraway story. He was the person choosing to harm them and their colleagues right there. All true. And nonviolence calls us to love them. When people cause us harm, we resist and we love them. It's a yes and, right? Loving them without resistance, that's called self-hatred. It's not helpful. We resist and we love them. We do not celebrate in their destruction because destruction ends their becoming. They can't continue the journey that we have all been through of becoming, unless anyone else here was born perfect. We do not seek their destruction because it will harm all of us. We are all connected. We seek the destruction of the system that allows that oppression to occur. That will take a lot, if not all, of we the people. And a ton of compassion. And each and every one of us choosing to practice loving kindness over I was right. And I admit, every now and then, I was right feels so good. It's tempting and it's not helpful, right? I save my I was right for the therapist. They do a really great job with those. Love calls us to honor the web of interdependence that exists between all of us with grace and fluidity. We are interdependent and we are becoming. Our opponents, whoever they are for you, are on their own journey. And recognizing the hard parts of my own journey helps me hold compassion for them as they are lost in pain and disconnection and fear and isolation, and they may tell me they have found the way, and that's beautiful for you, but right now I also know you're on a journey. Recognizing and remembering these times that I was so wrong helps me choose kindness and compassion in those. And then gives me the opportunity to build bridges to my neighbors. One of my dear friends who is Jewish shared with me that her understanding of the Shema prayer evolved over time. This sacred prayer is chanted at every service. And please forgive my Hebrew, I will do my best. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Traditionally, many think of this as a call to monotheism, as Judaism is considered in many cases one of the first monotheistic religions, and certainly from that part of the world. Yet I hear that in the words, and yet, as she did this sacred prayer in sign language, she experienced a moment of becoming, the sign for God and one. In her theological reflection, she came to understand that the Lord is one means me and you and us. That the Lord or God is in all of us, in how we listen and love, and in all creation. All creation. And since creation's an expression of the divine, and creation is always becoming. So I call for honest and open conversations with humility. I promise you that none of us know everything. And if you do, please schedule a pastoral care appointment. I'd love to talk to you. Let us engage with the curiosity to welcome what we don't yet know. Here is where we can hear each other's stories and begin to heal, communally heal. Living in a state of becoming that helps us avoid the traps of eternity and inevitability that I've talked about before. Nothing's inevitable. If we want the moral arc of the universe to bend toward justice, as Theodore Parker toward Martin Luther King, then friends, we got to get those hammers out and start swinging. And if we want to bend it towards justice, we also have to recognize that as an expression of the divine, all of us have to act to make that happen. Everything changes. Sometimes this is beautiful. The blooming of a flower, the rising of the sun, the flow of the river, the birth of a baby. And sometimes it's painful. Nothing lasts for eternity, and nothing's unchangeable. And in the space of compassion and kindness, may we do the responsible work for justice, the work of the struggle. Hate cannot now or ever create, well, anything, and it certainly can't create justice. How we are together is the ministry. So I love the America that is struggling right now, an America that is becoming. And I am not willing to leave anyone behind. I am not willing to build my paradise on the suffering of others. Somebody is hurting my siblings, and it's gone on far too long. Nothing is inevitable. Nothing is eternal. There is struggle, there is fear, and there is violence. And we can choose compassion and kindness. So friends, I ask, how are you going to cultivate compassion in the struggle? And as you reflect on that before our discussion, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join me in hymn 1021, Lean on Me. All right. So then we'll transition into my closing words. Let's take a nice deep breath. Heavy topic, right? Heavy talking, lots of conversation. May we go forth with our calm and open hearts, make peace and grow in wholeness, live with the integrity of life within ourselves and all living things, being fully present to each moment of this one wild, wonderful, beautiful life. Maybe so.
Words are in your order of service on extinguishing the chalice. Thank you, Michael. Thank you all. Have a wonderful Sunday afternoon.